What's up, beautiful people? We're here to talk about the February monthly energies. And this month, I mean, this year is going to be unlike any other year we've ever seen in our lives. So many things are culminating, not to mention that it's also a leap year. So this month of this year is special because there's 29 days. Last time we had one of those was, 2020. And if you thought the last 3 years was weird and crazy, we're coming up to some spots that are going to, it's almost like, the volcano's about to burst, the pimple's about to pop, everything is, culminating and clearing out to bring us to another level, or you could even say another dimension, right? So this month in particular, I don't know if you guys watched my 2024 yearly energy report, or even the one I made for this eclipse cycle or season, but February and March are really the defining months that are going to be shoving your truth in your face. Okay, what I mean by that is that we are being shown, or we are being given the clarity or the ability to understand and see our deepest fear and our deepest truth. With this month in particular, the entire month, the North Node is going to be conjunct Chiron almost exact the entire month. Okay, so what that just means, it's still hovering around. When I say exact, it means that the energy is at its pinnacle point. It's at its strongest. It's at its closest in our face. So the veil is the thinnest. And with that, Chiron is the wounded healer, and Aries for the collective. This means that, we're being shown where our truth lies. Like, what do you want to really truly manifest in your life? Or what do you want your life to be like? And the answer is on the other side of that deepest fear that you keep trying to avoid. All right. So you're going to feel it in your physical body. You're going to see it in every person, in every song, in every situation. There is going to be no there. You can lie to yourself, sure. But what's that going to do for you? Right. So this is and plus all the planets are direct now. Uranus was the last planet to go direct on January 27th. So now from this month, next month until April 1st, when Mercury goes retrograde, all planets are direct. Now, all that means is that our story, if you will, is moving forward. We just came out of the deepest retrograde season that we've experienced in our life as well. So there was a deep, deep excavation process. And this is going to keep feeling more and more extreme, more because the polarity is coming further and further apart. This year, it's going to feel faster and deeper. Now, my prayer, my hope, my wish is that, you decide to follow your heart with love and go into what you feel guided or inspired to go to be the highest version of yourself, because that is what the collective needs. And through that process, through each one of our individuals' process, whether you are a National Guardsman, or you work for the CIA, or you work in the government, or you work at a factory, making car parts, doesn't matter. The point is that we're all going to have opportunities, especially this month, to feel this vulnerability and allow it space to open up and clear out. And then once that happens, we have to be willing to step in the unknown and face the fear of the unknown. Okay, so up until this point, when 2020 really first started, or when everything kicked off in 2020, I should say, it was the fear of death, right? Now the fear of death is, we've all gone through our own processes and dealt with that feeling. And a lot of our, ego selves, levels and layers of it has died off. Now we are stepping into a new phase, a new chapter, and it's really kicking off this month of facing the fear of the unknown. which is a little bit different. Now you might say like, man, like I'm so sick of like, it's too much work, it's too hard. Well, the key is that when you're stepping into this, is to have faith, to trust your heart. The faith is what relieves all the burden, all the heaviness. And that trauma, as it's coming up, it's almost like you build a tolerance to it. You step back. You're not attached to the story. You're not attached to the idea. You're not attached to the pain. You're able to observe the pain or observe the trauma for what it is, and you allow it to move through. Now, we all have our own way of doing this. This is why I do so much biohacking stuff, and I work with, plant medicines, and I do, and nutrition and exercise are a fundamental part of my daily life because I need that to be able to voluntarily face that pain and know how to work with it, as opposed to it controlling me. I guide through it. I know how to navigate it. So how do you do that in your own life? If you don't know, well, even if you do know, we're coming to another level or another phase of it where it's teaching us a whole new lesson in a whole new way. All right. So let's get into the chart here and take a look at what we have going on. So this month is a leap year, so we're going to have 29 days of February. And then also, too, the year of the dragon in Chinese astrology begins on February 10th. So that's another beginning kind of energy. Now, you could say it's like a chaotic kind of energy. However, there's been chaos in the world, right? For years. So when we do step into faith, it's like the chaos around us doesn't really affect us because we feel safe within ourselves and we trust our heart and we just know which way to go. It's going to feel, a little funky, but you know how to let that move through you. You don't hold on to it, right? Attachments, addictions, things like that. At this point, it's like they're either going to kill you or you're going to figure it out and you're going to get rid of it. So really this 2 months is that path. That's why a lot of souls are going to choose to leave, unfortunately. However, that's their choice. That's the time that we're in, right? So we have to allow that and accept that. But the truth is going to set you free, and that's super cheesy, but it's so true. And the truth, like stepping into our deepest truth can be very difficult. It kind of reminds me, I don't know if you guys seen the movie King Arthur, with the actor that was Jax in Sons of Anarchy. But in that movie about King Arthur, he had the Excalibur, right? This sword that when he grabbed it with both hands, it brought up memories of how his father perished and how the evil took over and all these things and he had to almost relive it in order to embody the strength to own the responsibility that power comes with. And this is what we're all being asked to do. We all have our own Excalibur in our own way, and we're being asked to grab it with both hands and look at our deepest truth. And we have things, past lives and whatnot, clearing out in some deep, deep ways. DNA is activating. God is showing us the power that we can wield. But we have to ask ourselves, are we willing to step into the depth of the fire, the phoenix rising from the ashes, to receive it, to own that truth, and to step into our highest vibrational good? Because by doing that process, that is how we serve the collective and become the truest, highest vibrational version of what we're meant to do in this incarnation. We're all here for a reason. I truly believe that. All right. So let's see, we had Mercury and Mars conjunct here at the end of January. So that energy is sort of dissipating now, and now Mercury is heading towards Pluto. So the Mars Mercury was really lighting up like Mars, especially exalted in Capricorn. Is about what do we need to do? What do we need to take action on to step into our true highest vibrational divine masculine power and potency? Now, if there's some ego-driven stuff, that could be frustration and irritation and all that stuff, right? So and you know, Venus is in Capricorn too, moving towards Mars. So our all the parts of our divine masculine and our divine feminine are kind of being put under the microscope right now in the deepest sense of the word. And with Pluto here sitting at 0 degrees of Aquarius, which is an anorectic degree, this month we're going to see all these personal energies kind of go through this threshold. I almost want to say it's like an anointing or a rite of passage of stepping into our truth and taking action on that truth. And that stepping into that truth requires us to have deeper faith. And that deeper faith will bring us blessings, but we're not going to see the blessings until we've already made that step. It's like you're stepping off a cliff and you have to believe that there's going to be a step that appears there. And all your fears are going to come up of, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. When you take that step, boom, suddenly you become a different version of yourself, because now you see and know something that was invisible to you just a moment before. And this is all inside yourself. Okay. Not to mention we have Saturn coming out of its shadow period here, and now it's going into a new the new deeper part of its learning lesson and its stint with Pisces. So this is structuring or molding the energetics of our consciousness and making a decision of where our boundaries are, really like remolding our boundaries, our morals, our ethics, our values, and stepping into those 100% and seeing what else lines up and accepting everything along the way. Okay. We have Jupiter that's now moving forward. On February 5th, we have Mercury that's going to conjunct Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius. So wherever 0 degrees Aquarius is in your chart, this is going to specify the part of your consciousness that it's going to illuminate. But Mercury conjunct Pluto is seeing the deep, deep, intense, dark truth of things that you have not wanted to look at. And you know, you can choose to lie to yourself and continue on, you know, doing the things that are not serving you, but it's going to become excruciatingly painful if you do that. Really, I don't even think you'd be able to do that, especially if you're empathic. In fact, people that aren't empathic, even narcissists and sociopaths and psychopaths, are going to start feeling this in their physical body. They can deny it all they want, but the energy is shifting so powerfully that we're going to see. That's why we're going to see a lot of things coming up, you know, that weren't previously coming up, because it cannot be hidden anymore. So this is going to be very, very powerful. All right. And not to mention too, this is also activating this Jupiter Saturn conjunction that happened in 2021 at this degree as well. In fact, it's going to activate the communication part. Then Mars is going to cross over. Then Venus is going to cross over. Then they're all going to be within 3 degrees of each other and talking to each other as they get onto the other side into the new Aquarian energy. So it's almost like where you know, Saturn rules Capricorn and it's a co-ruler of Aquarius with Uranus, but we're stepping beyond the constraints of Saturn, Capricornian Saturn, which is the old system, and stepping into the new system of the Uranian Saturn, which is karmic blessings. Whatever you have put out there spiritually for the last 15 years is now going to come back this year, and it's going to come back like floodgates. So if you've been doing a lot of, you know, really good work, you're going to start to see a lot of blessings coming back your way. All right, on the 9th, we have the new moon at 20 degrees of Aquarius. Now, this new moon at 20 degrees Aquarius, well, I'm super excited about it because it's in my 10th house in conjunct moon, my natal moon. But you know, this is the beginning of the third decan. So this is really opening up and shining a light on what our individuated mission is for the collective, for humanity. The darker side of this, you know, could be wanting to dissociate and just kind of, you know, run away from shit. But this is an opportunity to really stand in your power truly, and be the change that you want to see in the world. Okay, you have Saturn at 7 degrees, which is now like, crossing that threshold into new territory as well. So as Saturn crosses through that threshold, now it's bringing in the blessings. Uranus is still basically sitting, station. It just turned direct, but since everything else is moving full force, even the nodes are starting to move fairly quickly. So now it's game on all the way. All right, so 13th of February, we have Mars now conjunct to Pluto at 0 degrees. So Mars and Pluto can be very volatile. Like it can. This is where it's going to burn away all the toxic masculine traits. But this could also be where people that refuse to allow that to burn away are going to start shit, right? So want to start fights, want to start, we could see some big fighting happening in the world, with the leaders that are acting like children and don't want to do the higher vibrational thing. These guys can start throwing temper tantrums on another level. And, of course, if we're in that higher vibration and we focus on what we want to create, that's not going to really affect us. Okay. So don't get too caught up in all that negativity, because especially right now, things are manifesting almost instantaneously. And if you stay focused on it, like I stay seeing what's going on, but I don't get attached to it, and I don't really believe anything to hear. I kind of look at it as like it's a show, right? Like get your popcorn and watch the show, just to be informed of what's going on in the world. And then and this is just like anything else. Then I come back and I tune into my heart, see what my heart tells about it. And I don't let that dictate the decisions that I make in my life. Right? Like it's a damn shame to see how juvenile a lot of these people are acting, but let them do their thing, because I don't see that in my actual reality. It's really so it's unfortunate, protect yourself, but send love to it and let it be what it is. All right. Just this is where stepping into your authenticity of, creation through self-love is what's going to create the reality that you want to be. Okay. Then just 3 days later, well, 3.5 days later, we have Venus conjunct Pluto. So now we have Mars at 2 degrees of Aquarius, Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and Venus at 0 degrees of Aquarius. Now, Pluto and Venus are going to conjunct twice this year. This is the first of two. And Venus, of course, is the divine feminine. When it's in Aquarius, this is all about our connection to the collective, right? And how do we receive? Do we isolate ourselves? Are we part of community? Are we, how are we socially, right? What do we want to see or experience socially? Or what do we even want to give back, right? Or, how do we work as an individual in respect to the whole? Now, with Mars and Venus there, this is really just drudging up and digging up anything residual that has not been dealt with, any self-worth, self-confidence issues, any emotional stuff with money, or money systems even. Okay, this could be where they start to try to ramp up the central bank digital currency situation, or crypto could be going through some changes, or the dollar could collapse, or whatever is going to happen. Look, this stuff's going to happen whether we like it or not, and this is where we have to be connected to the people that we trust, doing business, right? We have to be doing business with people that we know we can count on and that we trust, because any nefarious activity or working with people that are not on the same value system as us, this is where it's going to get, it's going to blow up in people's faces, because when you're not aligned and anything that's underneath the surface, there's no more saying one thing and doing another. It's like everybody's going to be able to feel the energy. It's whether you tune into it and accept that and trust it and follow it or not, or use it. This is like a superpower being activated in the entire collective. And some people will use it as a weapon, and some people will use it, as an opportunity to do good in the world. Just like, like AI, same thing, right? We can use it to help humanity, or people can use it to desecrate humanity. And so, have the courage or have the even self-love to face yourself, um, and feel all your feelings, feel all your shit, and allow yourself to, have compassion, but yet in a disciplined way. We got to have self-discipline in order to be able to bring about the version of us that really wants to shine right now, because our hearts are really calling us to open up. Okay. So this Mars Pluto Venus conjunction is really, we're going to be feeling it all month, as well as the Chiron North Node conjunction. As you can see here, it's exact right now, both at 16 degrees of Aries. And by the way, 19 degrees of Aries is where the natal United States Chiron is. So this is hitting pretty close to home. And then the eclipse that's going to happen on April 8th is going to be smack right on top of that Chiron. So the vulnerability, all the deepest wounds of us as a nation, in the United States at least, is going to be front page. It's going to be right in our faces. And, we're going to have to, I don't want to say choose a side, but we're going to have to step into our self-love. And, but, there's going to be people that are going to be picking sides and choosing teams and whatnot. So, as long as you're living your truth, you're going to be following your guidance that you receive through divine source, you're going to be okay. All right. But it's imperative that, you connect to that. You have the courage to take action upon it. You can have all the information you want. It's like reading a book, but if you don't take action on it, if you don't really embody it through actually knowing it and living it, then it's just a waste. It's nothing. It's like potential energy that has the potential to go kinetic, but there's no action. There's no catalyst. Your action is the catalyst to make this become a reality into our reality, into the third dimension. Okay, so essentially, for 2024 is where we are alchemizing the intellectual understanding of all these energies of what we truly want in our heart, and shifting it or making it real through action into this 3D reality. All right. Let's see. On the 20th, we have Mars and Venus conjunct exactly now. And this conjunction is going to last. They're going to kind of hopscotch back and forth, but stay in the same degree at 5, 6, 7, and 8 degrees Aquarius, which is very powerful. So at this time, and Chiron and the North Node are still conjunct at 16 degrees as well. So we see here now that Mars and Venus have moved through the deep trudging up of all the personal energies of our divine masculine, divine feminine. This is the final sweep, guys, of being able to step into this new Aquarian 20-year cycle, where we are going to really make the decisions that are going to set the foundation for this next 20 years of our life. And we're also approaching the Sun conjunct Saturn, which is going to happen at the very end of the month. Okay, so that Sun conjunct Saturn, which we haven't seen since the mid-90s, is going to be a reality check. All right, are we following our heart? Or, so if things start really flowing and blessings started coming in your life, you're on the right path. If shit is chaotic and just breaking down and what the fuck is going on, you got to make some changes. It's very, very simple. You don't need to complicate it any more than that. Okay, so and with the North Node conjunct Chiron, it's saying, hey, you got to make the changes, and here are the changes you got to make. Chiron, facing your deepest fear. You know, your identity. Are you attached to something that's outside of yourself, as opposed to having the self-worth and self-confidence of loving yourself and not giving a fuck what the rest of the world thinks? This is letting that freak flag fly, letting that weirdness be your guide, letting it be okay to be your individuated self in whatever way that might look. Okay. So then we have, of course, around this time as well, on the 19th, actually, we have the sun moving into Pisces. So happy birthday to all you Pisces out there. All right. And really, you know, Pisces season is really the true end of the year. So we're actually going through still endings. The new beginning happens when the sun goes into Aries. But also in February 10th, we have the start of the dragon year, right? So there's a lot of we're sort of in this sort of a cesspool or this boiling pot where we're given the opportunity to rise like the phoenix through the ashes. This is it. This is where we're at. We are moving through that metamorphosis this month, and taking action is the number one thing that you can do to serve your highest and greatest purpose and good. Okay. And we're still building up the culminations, like the real culmination of this energy, to get to this next chapter, this next level, to level up, because we are all going through a potential level up, is moving through until the begin. Well, really, April 20th is the defining moment when Jupiter and Uranus conjunct. Okay. But for this month, allowing yourself to sit in that deep vulnerability, to look and face your deepest fear and allow it to change you, allow it to mold you, allow it to separate you from any attachments that are no longer serving you. Okay. On the 24th, we have a full moon that'll be at 5 degrees of Virgo. I don't have it. Let me get it on exactly the right time here. 5 degrees of Virgo. So full moon in Virgo is really, my computer is acting really, really slow right now. It's special. It's so special. All right, 5 degrees. So the sun is pretty much conjunct Saturn and Mercury, and the moon is closely conjunct to Black Moon Lilith. So purification, karmic checkpoint, and purification with Mercury there. Of course, you know, like we're getting communication, we're getting downloads, we're seeing and understanding what we got to do. North Node is still exactly conjunct or in the same degree as Chiron. So and it's quincunx to Juno over here. So be kind to yourself, but be honest about where you emotionally need to let go and clear, and love yourself and honor yourself. Right? Face those fears this month, guys. Face them fears. Then the sun is gonna, of course, culminate and come into its conjunction with Saturn here on the 28th. Oops, change that to days. February 28th. Actually, the sun, Mercury, and Saturn will all be conjunct at 9. And look at that, 999. All right. And now Pluto is at 1 degree of Aquarius, which it has not been at before. So now we're going to really start to feel we're stepping into this new Aquarian energy. And we still have, you know, Mars and Venus, like, you know, within 3 degrees of each other. Jupiter is now in the second decan of Taurus. So now Jupiter is really moving forward and pulling us out. Like we can all feel it. Feel like this. It's almost like there's this sort of cosmic event that we can feel that's coming, and these things are building. And you know, I almost just in my head, we're running, and they're like in a movie, right? Like see explosions happening behind. It's like, yeah. You know, like this is the hero's journey, and this is really calling us into fully comprehending and understanding what this hero's journey is, what we are here and meant to do in order to serve the collective. All right, so however that speaks to you, please let me know in the comments below. And if this video resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you like a reading from me, just go ahead in the link down below. I have all my information. You can contact me. Let's make it happen. I love and appreciate you all, and I hope you have a beautiful month of February. Aho.